So I posted a short clip on the channel the other day about how to write an effective paragraph and what it must contain. And you guys kept asking, give an example. Can you go into details? It was just a very short clip. That was just me teasing you guys. So in this video, I'm going to give you all the full details, including examples and how to achieve a very proper paragraph and what that paragraph must contain for it to be solid, right? So that's what we're going to do in this video. So if that sounds like what you're looking for, then definitely keep watching. How to write an effective paragraph that applies to every section, introduction, every part, every paragraph is what I'm talking about now. I'm putting it all together. Subsequently, we'll break down. I think there is a video on how to write a very good introduction. You can check that out. I would also be doing one on conclusion as well. But now let's just talk about paragraphs generally. What should they contain? What must be in it? And how should you write it? And then I'll give you an example. Okay, guys. So before I go on, have you liked and have you subscribed? Guys, do your girl this favor. Like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss all the juicy bits and educative stuff whenever I upload them. Okay, guys. So let's get into this video. All right, so why paragraph? What should your paragraph give off? For me, a paragraph is a solid point with an argument, right? That's basically what that paragraph is. If I read a paragraph, I expect that it should be talking about something in particular, and that something must be well debated. When I say a key point, that means it must have a fact in it. That means you are establishing a fact, like A equals B. It is 1 + 1 = 2. It is a fact, right? So that means you are establishing a fact. And this fact now, you back it up with an evidence. Still on that paragraph, you have a fact. You back up that fact with an evidence. Then you critique it, right? And then after critiquing it, you can now do the best thing, which is, like, if you want to bring it home totally, relate it back to the question. Like the question or the overall topic of your essay or the overall argument you're trying to make. Do you understand? So that is what each paragraph at least must contain, all those things. And so because it must contain a fact, an evidence, and critical analysis does not mean one line. Like each line will now be, okay, this line is the fact, this line is the evidence, this line is the critical analysis. That does not mean your paragraph must contain 3 lines. That is not what I am saying. Okay, guys. So for you to fully understand the depth of what I'm talking about, I think it's best to just show. So I'm going to show you a paragraph. I'm going to break it down into segments so that you can understand what I mean by this, a fact, an evidence, and then critical analysis. And then bringing it home. When you bring it home, that is when you relate it back to the topic itself. So let's do that.
So that said, you already know I'm very big on example. You can say I'm like your queen of examples. So in this video, I'm going to give 2 examples, right? So the first example is going to be really simplified. Like, what do I mean by a fact? What do I mean by an evidence? And what do I mean by critical analysis? Like, I'm going to illustrate what that means, like you can see on your screen right now. So for the form of a fact, take for example, you list a fact. A fact is a fact. Obesity predisposes to heart diseases. Yes, that is a fact. Obesity does leads to heart diseases, among many other conditions, right? So we have stated that fact. Now, what's our evidence? So you can now say, according to a cross-sectional study conducted by Barry and Smith 2015, which showed that. So you tell us what that is. That is your evidence. Still in the same paragraph. Then you go a notch further and input your critical analysis. Now you have told us the facts. You have given an evidence to back it up. Now critique that. So you can say something like, in addition to this evidence, maybe there are other findings, add that. Or contrary to these findings, you can add that. There are so many ways to add critical analysis to your work. We already spoke about that in several other videos. So do your best to check them out. I'll probably try and link them in the description box in this video so you can check them out, okay? But these are ways that you can actually add critical analysis. Just 2 of the ways. There are several others. Critical analysis means so much more. and you know that I talk about it a lot, because there is no work you want to do starting from level 6, especially even level 5, that they won't tell you to critique. So it's best to always add critical analysis, and if you ask me, a lot of it. So if you get the baseline meaning of what critical analysis is, it is easy for you to actually add it to your work. Now to the second example. Now this second example, I'm going to make sure that it is like a proper paragraph, right? So that you can see what it looks like. And then we're going to pick out from there what the fact is, what the evidence is, and what the critical analysis is, okay? So that said, now, here I have one of the most common issues associated with childhood obesity is the minimal participation in or lack of physical activity among children, right? That is a fact. This right here, let's highlight it, right? Let's highlight it in what color now? Green, like we did there earlier. So we highlight it in green. Green. Now, that is a fact. One of the most common issues associated with childhood obesity is the minimal participation in or lack of physical activity among children. That is a fact. It's as simple as that. It is a fact. So now let's move to what the evidence is. The second line says studies have investigated the relationship between childhood obesity and a child's physical activity. And some of these studies have found that obese children and adolescents are less involved in moderate to vigorous physical activities and are more involved in sedentary behaviors compared with their lean counterparts. Right? That is an evidence that is backing up that fact that we stated. This is an evidence, and we're going to paint that in red because we painted evidence in red. So we're going to put that in red. Now, that this is our evidence, an evidence, right? So now we move to critical analysis. The lack of physical activity or increased sedentary behaviors goes beyond causing obesity. Are you seeing how the critic is coming into place? It goes beyond obesity. It can lead to morbidity, mortality, psychological and cardiometabolic health problems. Furthermore, it is known that engaging or partaking in physical activity is one of the most effective measures in the prevention of obesity associated diseases such as cardiovascular diseases, metabolic syndrome, and diabetes. See, it's not as straightforward as you would want, right? But you can already see that this is a form of critique. You're already critiquing this physical activity, but on a plus side. Remember that critiquing an article can be a positive or a negative thing, right? But in this sense, you're backing up this point, this evidence that you have, you're backing it up with other things like what can this non-participation, what does it lead to aside obesity? It has other complications, and that's what it has done. And if you look at my critical analysis here that I highlighted, I said in addition to these findings, so this is like what that has said here. Like, in addition to the fact that children who are obese are more sedentary, it has also shown that obesity is not the only problem. It can also lead to other diseases like cardiovascular diseases, metabolic diseases, and that, my friend, is how you put your critical analysis. So let's highlight that. So let's just make it balanced. So that's it. Every paragraph must have a fact and evidence and a critical analysis. It makes it so solid. So owing to that, now that doesn't mean that when you now write a paragraph, the only thing you should put is a fact and evidence or critical analysis. But it is important that these three things are present for you to score a very high mark, so to say, and for you to actually be able to put your point out there. So that's my own thing. The thing is, you can as well add more points to this. You can go further. You can critique as much as you want. You can add as many evidence as you want. You can add as many facts as you want. It doesn't mean that per paragraph there should be only one fact, right? It doesn't mean that per paragraph there should be only one evidence. It doesn't mean that you should only do one line of critical analysis per paragraph. It just means that each paragraph must have a fact. It must have an evidence, and it must have a critical analysis. Now to my what's it called now, the cherry on top of the icing now is what I want to give you right now. When you have all this, yes, it is fantastic, it is good. But if you want to take it a notch further and just show that yes, I am actually writing specifically about this topic. After writing all this, you try your best to relate it back to your question. Do you get? You try your best to give us the implication in regards to the argument you're trying to make, in regards to your question. I hope I'm making sense. But there's always a question, and there's always, like, let's say for example, there's always like a research question, kind of. So how does that relate to your question? It doesn't have to answer the question in form of yes or no, right? But it has to relate to it, like you talking around it or about it, kind of. So that's how you write your paragraph, and that's how you bring it home. That's how you bring it home. There's no way that you follow this basic rule and it won't make sense. Okay, guys. So this is the example I have, and I hope you have enjoyed this video this far. I hope you have liked. I hope you have subscribed. I hope I will see you in my next video, and I hope you're sharing this with your friends. You shouldn't keep this to yourself. Share it with your friends. Let them also benefit. Let them score high grades, and also if you've waited to the end, I have good news for you. So there is something I am working on, and I want you. I'm not going to announce it just yet, but you have to keep up with my videos. And particularly if you are a student and you are looking for help and all that, you might want to keep on watching my videos for like next couple of weeks, because I'm going to drop the bomb in one of those videos, and you do not want to miss it.
Thank you guys for watching this video this far. I hope that you understood everything I was talking about, and if you have watched this video to this point, I hope you have liked, I hope you have subscribed, and if you need to write a paragraph, I hope you will do justice to it. Okay, I hope you'll finish it. You'll do a lot of justice to it. All right, guys, thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure, and till I see you again in my next video, make sure you put a smile on somebody's face. Bye.